Hey, what's up, YouTubers? Thanks for stopping back and checking me out. This is a random storage tote, number 9, I believe we're up to now. And this is going to be the majority of my horror figures, and there should be some pretty good ones in this one. I do have some Leatherface. There might be a couple Walking Dead, but not too many. Some Jason, stuff like that. And I'll just kind of pan over and show you guys what I'm going to be pulling from. This is just a big silver tote. And there's no rhyme or reason to how I pull these out. It's just a random order. Just going to grab from the top and keep moving. This may be a pretty long video, so if you want to pause it here, get yourself a pop, snack, just kick back and relax and check out my collection. The first one here is the action figure for the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. That is Leatherface. NECA Real Toys, and this was from the video game series, and I can't remember if this was Atari 2600 or if it was from the Nintendo line. Maybe one of you guys can comment down below, but you can tell it was definitely like 8-bit or so, because you can see the text and just the lime green outfit that Leatherface was wearing. This is a really nice edition though. So I'll just keep moving on. The next one here is one of my favorites. This is Chop Top from the Texas Chainsaw Massacre Part 2 from 1986. And this one is very well detailed. I'm going to try to get in here without that reflection, but you look at his pants, he's got kind of that, stuck in that hippies era, and he's got the blue jeans with the bell bottoms and some designs on his pants, like flower power type stuff, and then he's got his little vest. And you can see at the top he has his rose-colored glasses, rose lenses, and then the plate on the top of his head where he would burn that coat hanger. And you can see the lighter and the coat hanger is right next to it. It's hard to pick that up, but he would burn the end of that coat hanger and then dig it on his plate. He also has a straight razor and a hammer, which he uses in the film, and then he has his wig, his toupee at the top. And this is a really cool figure. That's what he looks like there with his accessories. The character was played by Bill Moseley, and that's one of the best horror characters ever in the history of film, in my opinion. Chop Top. Here is one of the few Walking Dead, I believe. There may be a few or a couple, but this is the Gravedigger Daryl Dixon. This one is a cool addition. You can see he's got the bandana around his face, he's got a shovel and a knife. That's from Series 7. And I believe that's right after the prison where they had to bury some bodies. It was in between the prison and when they met that preacher, I think. So I thought that was a pretty cool figure. Gravedigger Daryl Dixon. Here's another Texas Chainsaw Massacre figure. This is Leatherface. Really nice addition here, and they have the cloth clothing. See, he's got his cowboy boots, some blue jeans, a bloody apron, his trademark tie that's kind of always flipped over when he's running. And I'm going to try to pause it here. I'm going to reboot my phone because it looks like the picture's not really crisp. So I'm going to try to reboot it. Be right back. Okay, so we got the phone rebooted, and hopefully it would make even just a little bit of difference for the quality. And it looks like the picture is a little bit better. And I was showing you guys here the Leatherface from the original TCM from 1974. And keep moving on here. The next one is another Leatherface. This is the tuxedo edition, I guess. And you can see that he's got, again, it has real cloth for clothing, and you can see that his tuxedo is pretty dirty. It's got dirt stains on his legs. His clothes are messy. He's got the face of the woman with the lipstick and the eyeshadow. And I do like to keep my toys packaged, as you guys can see. And there's a couple reasons for that. One is, if you look at the background art here, that's just amazing. And that is actually done by Nathan Thomas Milliner, the famous artist. I like to keep the background art. It looks really cool. And not only that, but they're hard to clean. If you take your toys out of the package, they get really dusty and dirty and they're hard to clean. I just like to keep them encapsulated in the plastic. The next figure here is from the Universal Monsters line. This is the Lon Chaney Wolfman. And I like to collect the Universal Monsters. They're a little bit cheaper than some of the others. I think these were like about 12 to 15 bucks, if I'm not mistaken, whereas some of these NECA real toys are, I think, like 25-ish, somewhere around in there. And most of the toys I pick up are from Toys R Us. Here's another Universal Monsters figure. This is Lucy Westenra, I guess. I'm not really familiar with her, but she was really cheap. I believe she was on clearance. But she looks pretty cool, so I thought I'd pick her up. I probably got this one for about 10 bucks. And you can also get Van Helsing there at the bottom. And which I don't believe I have Van Helsing. This is from Diamond Select Toys. I got this one here. I can't remember who I got this one from, but this is a Twisted Fairy Tales. I believe this was part of a trade package. And this is Peter Pumpkin Eater. And you can see he's kind of a monstrosity with body parts in his jack-o'-lantern. Looks like there's a head, an arm, a leg. So that's from Todd McFarlane's Toys, Spawn.com. I think that's pretty cool. You can get some other toys back here. You get Hansel and Gretel, Humpty Dumpty, Red Riding Hood, and Miss Muffet. And this was Peter Pumpkin Eater. Next one here is A Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2, Freddy's Revenge. Freddy Krueger with the cloth clothing. These are my favorite types of toys, with the actual cloth, and they come with some accessories here. In Part 2, the scene where the nails just came right out of his skin, or you can switch the arm so he has the glove. And then of course you have his trademark hat. You got his dirty work pants, his dirty work boots, that red and green sweater, and then you can change the mug to a scream or just kind of a scowl. This is a really cool addition here. There's what he looks like when he's posed. Another one of my favorites. This is from the original Friday the 13th. This is Pam Voorhees, Jason's mom, and then a young Jason, who was played by Ari Lehman. And you can see it's the drowned boy. And then there's his mom with that blue sweater. Really cool addition. And then there you can see how you can pose them together. And here's his little Camp Crystal Lake t-shirt. I thought that was a nice little touch. Really nice addition. I know that one sold out pretty quick. Here is Jason from Part 5, A New Beginning. And this is really cool. He's got that overalls and bloody hand. You can switch them out. He's got the bloody shears. Almost kind of the Burning style. And then he comes with a bloody knife and a bloody hatchet, or bloody cleaver, I guess. And that background art is just phenomenal. Here's another Friday the 13th. This is the boxed up edition. And this is the 8-bit game version of Jason. You could hear in the background it plays the theme for the Nintendo game. And you can see he's got the light blue hockey mask and the purple clothes, and then you can see the head of his mom, Pam. And then you can see You and your friends are dead. Game over. This was a pretty hard game. But there you can see what his face looks like without the mask. Then he has a couple weapons, a machete and an axe, and then there's his mom. Really nice addition. And then here is Sackhead Jason from Part 2. This was a really cool Jason. I thought they were all really good. It's my favorite franchise of all time. Love Jason. Here is an Evil Dead 2 figure of Henrietta, the Deadite. And that's a really cool detailed piece there. It looks like her body is just oozing and festering. It's just a really nice addition here. And then there's another head. And you can see at the bottom you get, you can also get Evil Ash, Boomstick Ash, and one-handed Ash with the shotgun. Here is a Friday the 13th. I'm not really even sure what this is called. It's just called Animated Jason Voorhees. Let me see who made this one. New Line Cinema put this out, or they sponsored it, I guess. And then I don't know if it still works, but it used to be where you can push that little yellow button on his feet, and then there would be some scenes from the film. And I'm going to be quiet for a second so we can listen. Batteries are pretty low.
Jason, Mother is talking to you.
Because usually he'll twist his head side to side, and then his little machete goes up and down. I got to put some new batteries in here. Okay, that's enough of that. Moving on. I have another Jason here. This one is from the final chapter, Part 4. And this one does not have the cloth clothing, but I still like it. You can see that he has a bloody knife, and then he has a machete there on the side. And this was put out by NECA. This was just not one of their more deluxe editions, but still I like it just the same. It's still a nice, important piece of my collection. Here is an Iron Maiden, the Trooper figure. These are really cool. These are kind of rare for me to find out in the wild, but when I saw a couple of them, I picked them up. And you could see that these are the cloth figures too, and he has his red, white, and blue clothing. And it looks like he's filthy, like he's been out in a battle. And of course, that is Eddie, the mascot. And he's got a bloody saber. Mascot for Iron Maiden. Oh, probably one of the best mascots ever for any rock band or any band, period. And speaking of mascots for a band, here's another one. This is the Red Fiend from the Misfits. And this was always kind of reminiscent of the Blind Dead to me. The Blind Dead box set that came out that Blue Underground put out some years back. The Templars. But I thought this figure was pretty cool. There's a red and a black one. I believe I do have the black one as well. And I do. Here he is right here, the Black Fiend. And you can see the art card on the back is black and white. And the art card on this one was red and blue. And I think these look amazing. They were a little bit pricey. I think these were right around 30 bucks. But I thought it was worth it. You may be able to find those a little cheaper on secondary markets like eBay. Or it may have gone up too, I'm not sure. I haven't looked those up in a while. Here is a Nightmare on Elm Street from Freddy's Dead, The Final Nightmare. And this is the Robert Englund character. It's hard to see there, but it's just the regular actor Robert Englund. He's not burnt. This is, I guess, pre-fire in a flashback scene. So that is just the actor's face, and it looks pretty cool. They do not have the cloth clothing on this figure, but it still looks cool. I had to pick that up. And then here was the second figure that came out in that line for Freddy's Dead, The Final Nightmare, and this is the burnt figure. This is the early burnt figure. Like right after the burning, I should say. So these are the two. Pre-fire and just after the fire. Here's another Universal monster, and this is from This Island Earth. And this is the Metaluna Mutant. I thought this was really cool. It comes in like that 60s style space uniform, and then he's that big alien head and the big googly eyes. This is a really cool 60s style sci-fi at its best. Some of the other figures you can get were Creature from the Black Lagoon, Bride of Frankenstein, Metaluna Mutant, wow, say that 10 times fast. Can't even say it one time fast. Phantom of the Opera. Here's another Universal Studios monster. This is the Hunchback of Notre Dame. Comes with the crown. And most of these figures, I haven't opened them, but you can see in the back they come with a little stand, so you can display them if you choose. But again, I like to keep my toys packaged up. But you can also get Mr. Hyde and the Mole People from that particular series. And speaking of Mr. Hyde, here he is. Another Universal monster. This guy comes with a pretty good base at the back. It has like a little cement block and then a piece of chimney. And then he gets his cane and his little top hat for accessories. And we have Phantom of the Opera, and check that out. That's pretty good likeness there. If the camera picks up the quality, that looks really good. And those are the two that I just recently showed. Here's another figure from Evil Dead 2, and this is Hero Ash. He's got the chainsaw on his right hand, and then he's got his boomstick accessory up there in the corner, and then you can see the Deadite wall mount of that deer head. Another one of my favorites here, this is George A. Romero's Day of the Dead Bub Deluxe action figure. This was a little pricey. I don't even really want to tell you guys what I paid for this. It was already long out of print when I picked it up. It does have some pretty good accessories. It has the headphones. It has a pistol from the movie. It has a razor. All that stuff ties in with the movie. And then in the background it has a stand, and then there's some chains where he's chained up in the movie. And then you can switch his arm so he can hold that pistol, or he does the salute. So I thought this was a really nice addition here. And this one came out in 2009, I believe. And it was already a couple years old when I picked it up. That's why it was a little pricey for me. Couple more here, guys, for this video. I have a Nightmare on Elm Street. This is a 8-bit game edition of Freddy, where he's got the orange and yellow clothing and then the pink gloves. And here on the panel it says, "So the evil is purged, fire purifies all. The bones are ashes, soon to be dust. Freddy is dead, and the nightmare is ended," or was it? So you guys know I'm a sucker for these game figures. There's the razor glove, the hideous face, and the removable hat. Here's another Freddy boxed edition. These are really nice because they already come as a display piece. There you can see the phone with the tongue sticking out at the bottom left. And you can see a couple of different faces there that you can interchange with the one that's on there now. He's got his hat and the finger that he lops off, that the green ooze comes out. And this is a beautiful edition. This is one of my favorites right here. This is just the original point blank. There it is. Boom. The original Freddy with everything you need to know from the first movie. All the best props right in there. And I have a Batman figure. And it's because it's the game figure. And this is the 8-bit Batman with the purple and light blue outfit or look, however you want to call it. And then you got a bat gun, a bat boomerang, I guess, and some other stuff that comes with it. You can see, "I know you murdered my parents, now you will dance with the devil in the pale moonlight." That was another excellent line from 1989, Tim Burton's Batman. Only the Joker said that, not Batman. "Have you ever danced with the devil in the pale moonlight?" And I have a Freddy Krueger, same style as that Jason that I showed earlier, and I believe the batteries may be completely dead in this one, but we'll give it a shot. It's got that yellow button.
Ever played Skip the Cat? Come to Freddy. Welcome to my nightmare. Tell him Freddy sent you. Oh, what's wrong? Did someone have a nightmare?
That's awesome.
You're mine now, Piggy. I'm gonna split you in two.
Okay, that's enough with that. But that is so fun. I'm over here smiling from ear to ear listening to that. And then I have a, let me see here. I have 6 Funko Pops in my collection, and I'm not a fan of the Funko Pops at all. The only reason I have 6 of them is because my daughters picked them out for me over the years. But the ones that they got me are pretty cool. I am going to keep them just because they're sentimental and because they're cool figures, but I'm not going to go out of my way to buy any of these. I know some people buy hundreds and hundreds of these, but for me, these are enough. I have the Freddy Krueger. Just going to go quick through these. You guys have seen these all before. I have the Leatherface Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I have the Jack Skellington Day of the Dead from Nightmare Before Christmas. That's the Day of the Dead mask that he was wearing. Dia de los Muertos, I guess, is the technical term. My favorite then is Jason Voorhees. My second favorite is Ash. It's got the chainsaw hand and the boomstick, of course. And then I have a Deadite. From Army of Darkness. So that was all my toys, guys. That was storage box number 9. I hope you enjoyed it. And it's sad to say, but the Labor Day weekend is almost at an end here. I'm going to be watching a little TV and then turning in. Sad that summer's over and kids are going back to school tomorrow. So I hope you guys had a great summer. There's still going to be some good weather, though, over the next couple weeks before fall. Hopefully, anyway. But if you guys have any comments, please feel free to drop a comment down below. If you like the video, by all means, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. If you'd like to share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Other than that, guys, take care. Thanks for watching, and I will catch you in the next video.